Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's Saturday. Slashback Saturday. Now, this is a segment I do created by my very good friend Joe, the Horror Man, where we pick a slasher based on a certain theme, give it a watch, and do a review. Now, this week's theme is animals. I'll be honest, this is not one of my favorite subjects. Any kind of animal violence tends to bother me. It always has. And the first movie I thought of to do was probably American Psycho. And I thought about it. But that part really gets to me. It always has. Along with a lot of the other movies. Of course, the second one I thought of doing was Friday the 13th Part 4 because of Gordon. But I ended up doing a movie that I haven't seen in a while that I really wanted to revisit. Humongous. Uncut. Now, Humongous is a 1982 film, which, depending on whether or not you listen to the IMDb, which is wrong, they say it's 97 minutes. But it's actually 94 minutes. And is directed by Paul Lynch. Now, Paul Lynch did a lot of TV. He did 4 episodes of one of my favorite horror anthologies, which was Dark Room, which is available in Germany, but it's a whole rigmarole thing. It's kind of not available here, and unless you can really speak German, it really does you no good. He also did some episodes of RoboCop, the TV series, which I'm not exactly all that familiar with. I've seen a couple of them, but nothing really major. He did a movie called Frozen in Fear. And, of course, last but certainly not least, he did the original Prom Night, which is a favorite of mine. Prom Night's probably one of those slashers that really gets the most mixed reviews out of just about any that I know of. It's always been a favorite of mine, though. Now, this stars David, and I hope I don't butcher their names, David Wysocki as Eric Simmons. He, of course, was in Mortuary, and a TV movie that I happen to be quite fond of, that I actually still need to pick up, called The Babysitter from 1980. That actually has William Shatner in it, and I really liked it. I remember the TV guide picture always scared me, because you really couldn't see the babysitter's face all that well, so let your imagination run with you and stare at it for hours, and you can see all kinds of stuff in there. Take it from me. Now, this also stars John Wildman as Nick Simmons. Now, he was in Skullduggery, which is a movie that I actually got from Joe the Horror Man, and Stan Helsing. It has Janet Baldwin. She was in Phantom of the Paradise and Gator Bait. And probably one of the ones I recognize the most, Joy Buchel. She plays Donna Blake. Now, every time I watch this movie, I recognize her. She's not a really very good actress in this one, but if any of you remember her, it'll probably be from the remake of The Fly. When Jeff Goldblum is in the bar, arm wrestling with that guy and breaks his arm, she is the prize. Redhead. Very attractive. She was also in Terror Train and a movie that I'm not familiar with called Cursed. And finally, Janet Julian. She was in King of New York, and Ghost Warrior. Now a brief synopsis. In the beginning of the film, a lady is walking. It's kind of like a party. It's Labor Day of 1946, I believe. Girl is walking by her dog pen, which has a bunch of German Shepherds. She is then cornered and raped by what seems to be a guy who is frustrated that she won't give it up, so to speak. From there, the dogs get free and kill the man. And in a very classy jazz number in the beginning, you kind of get a picture montage of what has happened since. Sort of. Fast forward 40-some years later, I think. I think that was about it. Either 30-some or 40-some years later. A group of kids are staying at a cabin from their uncle. And it's the end of their vacation. It's 2 brothers and 1 sister and their significant others. And they get on their boat to end their vacation. And something goes tragically wrong in the water. And they end up on Dog Island. The original island where the woman was raped. I'm kind of going to leave it there. There is more to the story, but I think you kind of get where I'm going with this. Now, Humongous, in my opinion, has one of the best covers in history. It was one that always creeped me out, one I always returned to when I was younger. And just the whole playpen with the monster, and here are the monster's little toys. They were once little girls and boys. It's just very, very cool. And it was one that was always creeped me out. Now, I had the same VHS tape that Joe just showed in his update. Of course, when I was younger, it was a cut box, but, you know, you take what you can get with movies that are kind of hard to find. I always remember the cut being very, very dark, and it was very hard to see the killer, aka the monster. But with this transfer from Scorpion, they really did a great job lighting up the scenes. So I thought that was really cool. Now, some interesting things about the film. This was released in Sweden as Dog Island. Very fitting. Gary Robbins, who plays the killer, was driven to the set every day in full monster makeup. I thought it was a very effective way to get the point across and to get responses from the actors. And Paul Lynch was inspired to make this film after he heard a kid use the word humongous, which I thought was actually kind of neat. Only 2 things remind me of the word humongous. This movie, and of course the Road Warrior, the bad guy in the Road Warrior. But anyway, this is a slasher, but it's a different kind of slasher, kind of in the vein of Hell Night. This and Hell Night are very similar, but I have a real soft spot for this movie. The acting in it isn't very good. It's kind of, well, it's pretty much dreadful in spots. But, like I said, I've always had a soft spot for this movie, probably because of the cover. It was one of those movies that when I was younger and I saw this cover, I had to see it. I just had to. Now, this, of course, is the Scorpion edition with the Katrina's Nightmare Theater, where it has reversible cover, but I don't really care for her all that much, so this is the cover it gets. Anyway, those of you who like slashers and monster movies, or really die-hard slasher fans, I think you'll really like this. Most other people tend to think it's garbage, I guess. So I'll let you be the judge of that one. But definitely check out The Horror Man. He has his original video this week. Definitely anxious to see what he's going to do. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.